begin today with Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Senator Joe Manchin came to the Senate just a year ago to fill the unexpired term of the late Senator Robert Byrd. But before then, he was elected by his fellow West Virginians to be their governor. And I always believe that you can tell a lot about a person by the esteem with which they are held by their peers. So Joe Manchin has been a governor, and I think it is significant that all of his peers elected Joe Manchin to be the chairman of the National Governors Association. Since coming to the Senate, he has also generated the attention, the admiration, and the respect of his peers in the United States Senate. He's been a pilot for 44 years. He's a member of the General Aviation Caucus, and we're thrilled to have him with us today. Please help me welcome, from West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ed, for the kind introduction, and it's truly an honor to be on this panel with this esteemed group of people that you're going to hear from. And Senator Frist and I had some time to get acquainted and talk about so many things, and I sure do miss him. I wish he was still there in the Senate helping all of us. But with that, let me just say, I want to apologize for the actions, or may I say the inactions, of Washington. I can assure you there are those of us that are not looking at the politics. We're not looking at the next election. We are looking at the next generation. We're willing to step out and make the tough votes, both Democrats and Republicans, and I think you will see that hopefully rise to the top sooner than later. So we will work very hard on that. I want to thank Ed and Lisa and all the NBAA family for putting this tremendous gathering on, helping us to explain our point of view of what we do for this great country and the economic vitality that we add to it. I'd like to say hello to my good friend Chucky Coolis from KCI in Clarksburg, West Virginia, where I used to keep my plane, a little PA-32. I've had it since 1981, still enjoy flying it. They didn't get too excited as I was governor flying myself around, but they had to live with it, and that's what it was. Let me give you a little bit of background of who I am and where I come from. I started flying in 1967. I took my first flight, $5 introductory flight. I was scared to death of heights as a kid. Couldn't climb a tree, froze up, couldn't get back down hardly. I says, man, I got to get over this. So I had a chance to play a little ball at WVU, and I got hurt. Had one spring off, and a friend of mine was an instructor. Vietnam was hot and heavy. My brother-in-law was a Navy aviator, great pilot off of the Essex carrier. So I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to go to Vietnam, what would I want to do? Run through the rice paddies or fly in a plane and come home and sleep in a warm bed on the ship? It didn't take me long to figure that one out. So I thought, well, I better get over this fear. I started taking flying lessons, and I got hooked on it, as most of you. And with that, the rest is history. So I have used the flying that I have been able to pursue. I have a little over 3,000 hours. I'm instrument rated. I was checked out in the Caravan, the state Caravan plane, and I've used my plane for private, business, and political. And I think Bill will tell you the same thing. It's invaluable. As governor, first thing I did when I got elected, I come in and I start saying, okay, what do we have in our assets? The first thing, every state, every agency has that ownership, their domain. So I had the state police that had their helicopters and their aviation division. I had the DEP, Environmental Protection, and they had their part of it, and they had a couple helicopters. And then I had the administrative department. All three of them didn't have an aircraft that was flight worthy. I said, okay, we're going to do one or two things. We're going to get out of the business or get into it right. We sold everything, got rid of all the junk. We brought, under the executive order that I signed, we brought the aviation division into being in West Virginia. We went out and bought good aircraft. We had a Beech 350. We went out and we shopped a Caravan, and people said, well, how could you do that? The public will retaliate. I said, not if you sell it. They won't. It's an asset. I was proud of us being able to go around the state and serve the people of West Virginia. I brought the entire public, opened the doors, and showed them what we were buying, the assets for the people of West Virginia. We were able to take the bomb squad and the dog canine squad in the Caravan anywhere in the state. We had basically the 350 that would take executive travel all over the state and anybody. The bottom line is they weren't utilizing how we were using those planes. because no one ever did connect the dots. So the seats were available if the plane was going here, and DEP had 7 people on the plane. We still had 2 seats available, and the Department of Highways could jump on. So we started using our assets, and we had no pushback from the public and the citizens that were really paying for it. We just eliminated duplications, and that's what was going on, the duplication that was going on in the DEP and the state police and all the rest of it. The funny thing was, the state police said, well, we have to train our own pilots. I said, you do? Yeah, we have to have a green uniform with a gun. And I said, well, I tell you what, I can hire a professional pilot and put a green uniform and a gun if it makes you feel good. I said, we're going to make some common sense. We're not going to spend our time and energy doing something that we have to reduplicate, and we didn't. So we said, we start doing some things that basically gave transparency, which I think helped us immensely. The thing that we've done in West Virginia also, we looked at aviation, and we looked at basically the economic vitality and the boost it would give our state. And I truly tell all of you, in politics, basically there's an old saying, tell your story before they tell one on you. Now they've been able to itemize and to go after the corporate jets in this industry. Unbelievable. They villainized it to the point we're cutting our nose off to spite our face. Every state benefits by the aviation, general aviation, every state. I have 35 airports in my little state of West Virginia, only 5. 20% of those states have any commercial transportation, commercial air service. The other 80% depend on you, myself, all of us that use these airports. When we buy fuel, every one of those county commissions get proceeds. They use those proceeds to help different parts of their society and their community. We don't tout all the things we do and the ripple effect that we have in every economy. You need to do that. We need to tell our story and get on the offense. It's tough. It's hard to win games playing defense all the time. You might snag a few victories, but you won't snag many. So I would say to all of us that we've got to do something. And I'll tell you, not only did we sign the proclamation, we put our money where our mouth was. I was able to get the legislature, Democrats and Republicans, to come together as West Virginians and say, okay, not only is this industry valuable to the state of West Virginia, we want more of it. So we reduced our personal tax liability in the state of West Virginia, and Chuck will tell you this, it was an average of 60% evaluation annually. We reduced it to salvage value of 5%, basically no tax on aircrafts in West Virginia if you come and you base your aircraft in our state, because we figured we hopefully will get your maintenance, we'll get your fuel, and we've got more jobs. That's what it was all about. We were able to do it, and do it basically through a legislative process that was representative of the people. So it shows you what the state of West Virginia believes in aviation, and we're willing to defend you as hard as we can. In the Senate, I've worked as a member of the General Aviation Caucus, and that's been something I've been very much involved in, and also the Pilot's Bill of Rights. We're working on that. I support the FAA authorization to modernize the aviation system. I know Randy's going to be talking about that, but it's imperative. You want to create jobs, you want to keep jobs. To me, the best way to create a new job is you better keep the one you have first. We're willing to talk about the Jobs Act, and we're going to go to war tomorrow and Wednesday in Washington over a so-called Jobs Act. And basically, on the other hand, we're going to tear down what we already have. When we put the user fee on, that shouldn't happen. If it does happen, we're in serious problems. Why would you continuously pound on the one industry that basically has given you the opportunities of the jobs that we have right now? We know this is a homegrown industry in the United States of America. The greatest industry, the greatest country, the greatest technology. The rest of the world wants what we have. And we're going to be fooling around and forcing people to leave this great country manufacturing. In West Virginia, we have a strong aluminum. Our aluminum basically provides a lot of the support to the aircraft industry throughout this great country. We want to make sure that continues. A fair tax system. We talk about taxes right now in Washington. They keep talking about revenue. We've got a breakdown. It truly is dysfunctional right now. The breakdown is this. If you're a Democrat, they believe that as a Democrat, oh, you can't touch entitlements, and basically we should, or like we're in favor of taxes. Well, not all of us, I can assure you of that, but basically taxes, we have to have it. People aren't paying their fair, equitable share. If you're a Republican, you're saying we got to kill the beast, we got to starve the beast, and the beast is government. If we keep money from going into government, we'll make them cut spending, we'll make them cut the size of government, we'll make them cut back to where we can live within those means. Both sides are right and both sides are wrong. We need revenue through efficiencies. We don't have to raise the tax rates, we just got to make sure it's equitable and fair. And we can do that. We've got to make sure that the new revenue that comes in starts paying down paying down the debt. On the other hand, on the benefit plan, we've got benefits now we can't sustain. When you have 50% of the people aren't working in America for one reason or another, but being supported by Americans that are working, you've got a problem. My grandfather always said, if you were inclined to help people, keep yourself strong. And what he meant by keeping strong, financially strong. I choose to rebuild America. I think it's time for us to get out of Afghanistan, get out of Iraq, quit spending money on nation building there, and bring that money back to America. I truly believe it. I believe that so strongly because I can see that we can't win that one over there. We're not going to change him. But we ought to defend this country and go after terrorism wherever it may be. And I don't care what it takes. Get back to our mission of war on terror. So we're talking very strongly about that, how we're going to responsibly pay for the things we need. But as I say this again, be proud of what you do. Be proud of the industry you're in. 1.2 million manufacturing jobs and service jobs are provided by the industry, by you all sitting in this room. 1.2 million jobs. $150 billion you put annually into this economy. Now you show me another. You show me another. You know what we would do? We've already spent $1 trillion trying to chase down nowhere near those figures of jobs. You understand? We would probably vote against our mother to get jobs like this. That was meant to be a joke. I wouldn't vote against my mom under any conditions. The end of the day, it's all about you being in Washington. Ed and Lisa and all of the NBAA family does a terrific job representing you. They truly do. But I can assure you, your faces, when you put a real face, a local person who's created jobs, who gives back to the community, who's a leader in their community, when they show up in the halls of Washington and say, listen, do you realize what you're doing? Let me tell you how it's affecting me. You start getting the attention of every senator up there, every congressperson. And I implore all of you, we are in a fight for our life right now to turn this economy. This is the greatest country on earth. You should be so proud. Everything that you think is wrong with America, every news station you turn on and you see 24/7 condemning everything that's gone wrong, trust me, it's our fault. We contributed to the problems we have, and we can fix every one of them because we are America. We are the greatest nation that this country and the world has ever seen. And this world depends on us. And I'm going to tell you, I depend on the NBAA to get involved now, to speak up loud and clear. You got strong voices here. You've got a tremendous audience. You got 25,000 people attending. Use it. Be on the offense. Be proud. Be a proud American. Be a proud NBAA member. And come and tell us exactly what we can do to help you improve the quality of life of America, state by state, and the great state of West Virginia. Thank you. God bless.